Good afternoon, my friends. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cold or something. Um, here's the thing is I was, stating that I haven't been sick in almost 2 years. And I think I was teasing that everybody should take as many supplements as I do because there are people that take supplements and then there's me. I take everything. Everything that says it's going to make you healthy in some form or fashion. I haven't been sick in almost 2 years. And so immediately I got sick with a cold. So that's how that works. So I'm a little more sultry than I normally am. And I'm normally pretty sultry. So this is a special thing. Okay, guys, good afternoon. I'm so excited to see all of you coming home from seminar. I'm just, firing on all cylinders. And very, very, very excited about so many things that are going on. Well, one of them is I taught a director class, which is such an honor and a privilege to be able to do things like that. But it was on mastering your day to magnify your impact. That was the title of the class. And so when it took me weeks to develop this class. Like I really put my guts into it because I'm like, I've never taught a time management class like this before. And I wanted to see what I could come up with that was very authentic to who I am. Really being able to duplicate how I look. Thank you guys. How I look at time, how I respect my time, and how I could teach others to do the exact same thing. So this class is going to be part one of, I think, 3, maybe 4 on time management, which is crazy. Like I've never taught time management before, but I value my time extraordinarily well. I mean, I am a work hard, play hard sort of girl. So I want you guys to be also. So this is kind of the consultant version of that class. I do have a director version that my assistant just uploaded on my YouTube. So it's there for directors. And I mean, this will be for anybody, but specifically consultants. And then we'll dive more into the other nitty gritty parts of this. Let me get my glasses just in case. Hold, please. Don't leave. Okay. Just in case I need to look at some of my notes. Okay. So sorry. I'm all tuffy. Okay, in the Webster definition of the word master, I wanted to see what that definition looked like. And of course, there's several different definitions. The one that I really liked, it said to gain a thorough understanding. Okay, that in order to master your day, you have to understand what your day looks like. So you have to understand your day. You have to understand your job as a consultant. And I know that sounds like, well, duh, but really do you? Okay, that's a big thing that you're going to have to, and this class is going to make you think. This class is going to make you reflect and to dig deeper. That's what I'm not here to tell you what to do. I would be glad to. I'm bossy and I've got a lot of opinions on everything. So I would, except that doesn't work. Like being like just telling somebody what to do, unless it comes from your own understanding and your own value system and your own lifestyle and your own goals, it's not going to work. You know you better than anybody else. So but you have to understand you. Very different. So you have to understand your job. You have to understand the tasks that you need to be doing. You have to understand your goals. So if you've got a goal to be National Court of Sales or sales director or Cadillac sales director, you need to know exactly what that looks like. Hoping and wishing is not a strategy. Like just dear Lord, make me a Cadillac sales director. That ain't gonna work. I do believe you need to pray about it. Absolutely. Don't discount what I'm saying there. But you have to know exactly what you need to hit every year, every month, therefore every day. You have to master your day. You're not going to have anything that you truly want because the secret is in the time that you have allowed in your day. So you have to understand your goals. You have to understand your personal strengths and weaknesses. One thing that I talk about a lot, I am a personality assessment junkie. Any assessment, Enneagram, Strength Finder, love languages, DISC, 7 communication frequencies, Myers-Briggs, whatever. I know mine, and I'm obsessed with knowing everybody else's, so that we can communicate in the way that is most effective for us. Well, my favorite one of them is Gallup Strength Finders. So if you do not know your Gallup Strength Finders, just Google it. Don't ask me to send you the link. You guys are big girls. You can do this. Gallup Strength Finders. And I would just go ahead and open up and get the full assessment, which with all 34 different qualities and different strengths and weaknesses, and it ranks yours. And you've got to know who you are. You've got to know what makes you tick. You got to know what distracts you. You got to know your downfalls. You got to know what traps you, all of those things. Because if you don't work in your strengths and you work in your weaknesses, it's the difference between multiplication and division. And that's what we're about today is multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. So you've got to know your strength finder. So go take that assessment. It's probably $50 or so to take it. So it's the expensive one, but I'm telling you, I've always had a problem with who I am. And my identity. I've always struggled with it, just taking other people's assessment and other people's opinion of me and never truly knowing me, which made me not like myself. Like I didn't even know myself to like myself. So I was working in a lot of self-loathing and a lot of, if I was around people that liked me, I liked me. And when I was around people that didn't like me, I didn't like me. That terrible way to go through life. Strength Finders told me exactly who I am and the way God made me to be. And it really allowed me to lean into myself and not absorb other people's opinions of me, especially growing up in those formative years. So, got to know that. You have to understand your business. You have to understand what's going well. You have to understand what you're good at. You have to understand what's not going well. You have to be very honest with yourself of what your sweet spot is, what you've been unwilling to do, things like that. And then you have to understand your needs, your financial needs, your emotional needs, and then that changes all the time as well. So mastering your day, understanding your day. And to have a deep understanding, you need to go through all of those things. I would just, when you're taking notes, I would highlight the things that you're like, I don't know. And good thing is that most of that stuff is really simple. So you just need to maybe slow down to speed up, which is, hold on, before I have a goal of being a Cadillac sales director, maybe I should know my Gallup Strength Finders and know how I'm wired and know what makes me tick. Okay. And what you're good at. So those are the things that you need to do, in my opinion. Now, like I said, your approach to time management is going to be different because it has your lifestyle. How many kids do you have? What ages are they? What's your full-time job look like? How flexible is it or inflexible is it? What are your hobbies? Where do you spend your time? What needs you right now? And then you have to understand your goals. And so that is what you're willing to sacrifice for. Okay. When you add something to your plate, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's just take fitness. If I add fitness to my table or my plate, which I have done like a little reboot in February, my hormones went freaky deaky and I gained 10 pounds in like 3 weeks. It was very weird and very bizarre. Well, it didn't go away. It was very rude. So in February, I had to add something to my plate in order to get that 10 pounds to go. So if I add something to my plate, something has to remove from my plate. So what is that going to be? You got to know. You can't just keep piling stuff on and piling stuff on, piling stuff on. It won't work. You'll burn out. You'll fail. You'll get frustrated and you'll think it's you. It's not you. It's your time. You didn't move something out of the way for something that you needed to have a higher priority. Okay. There are no rules, guys, and I love that. There's no rules on how to make this work the best. This is only for you, and it's for you to figure out on it. You just have to make sure that you know there's a trade-off for everything that you put in. I'm going to talk about the sweat equity. And as if you know me, my husband and I love to do house renovations, and we do most of the things ourselves. Fitness, or in this case, business, investing in yourself, but you don't get paid for it. So there's going to be, as a consultant particularly, there's going to be times in your business that you're going to have to put sweat equity in. You know that you're going to put this in and you ain't ever going to get repaid back for it. That's sweat equity. Sweat equity in our houses, we get paid off when we sell it. So think about that. You're not going to get paid off right now, but when it gets built, and you put all that sweat equity in. You didn't get paid off immediately for it, but you're going to get paid off in the future for it. That is what sweat equity is. And so we're going to talk about that. Okay, so we are going to talk specifically in this one, in this class, about the time management matrix. Okay, so I want you to make a square with 4 little squares in it, and you've got 4 categories. And so we're going to put the tasks of a consultant into a time management matrix. So multiplication, addition, subtraction, division. And obviously, the goal is to be the most in multiplication, at least in addition, very few in subtraction. This is where sweat equity comes into play, is in subtraction. That's your sweat equity section. And then as little as humanly possible in division. Okay. So as a consultant, let's go through this. Multiplication. Anything that's going to be in your multiplication is going to be the things that have the most potential to create momentum. These are the things that can snowball and take over and change everything. Okay. That's multiplication. So what is in multiplication as a consultant? Full circle work. And so full circle work is when you go the full circle on a face, a party, a person-to-person interaction. So not only are you just going to, like, you can't just check a box. You can't just, okay, I've got somebody coming over to do a makeover. Okay, she's gonna come over and do makeover. We're gonna do the makeover. I'm gonna sell our product and buy. That's checking a box. Oop, I did a face. Yay. That's not full circle. Full circle is pre-profiling her, getting to know her skin, what she's using, what her pain points are, what is she looking for, what is she happy with, learning her skin, learning about or teaching her a little bit about Mary Kay, which is watching a video. So pre-profiling, we're learning her and we're introducing her to the company. That is before she walks in the door. That's pre-profiling. And maybe we can talk about that later in a series, because I am a huge proponent of pre-profiling, and mostly because for the first 10 years of my business, I never did it one time. And now I do. And now it's my favorite thing. And it's like the biggest hack ever to developing a deep, wide customer base and also your team quickly. So we're pre-profiling them. When she walks in the door, we are giving her the best service that she could possibly fathom, and she could understand why working with a consultant is so much better than going to a department store counter. So what do we do there? We build relationships. That's working full circle. We ask her tons of questions. You can't solve problems that you don't know. And don't assume that you do, because you're not going to be right at it. I'm not right at it. And I've been doing this 1,000 years. Ask questions, lots and lots of questions, getting to know her problems, developing a routine that is perfect for her, not the one that you love, but that is perfect for her, asking for referrals, booking her for a party, whether it's virtual or in person. And then maybe you like her so much and like there's something here, and you'd want to add her to your team. And so doing a Pearl Girl call with your director, or bold ask, or coffee appointment, or something like that. That's working full circle. There's a difference. So you're checking a box and working full circle. If you do that, you're in multiplication. So basically, don't ever do a face or a party without working full circle, because then you're working in addition. You're not working in multiplication. And the more time you can spend in these higher ups, the faster your business is going to go and the more money that you're going to make. Okay. Personal appointments with new people. Of course, I want you to do appointments with your current customer base. That's addition. But if you get with new people, that is multiplication, because that has the potential to momentum and snowball and change everything. Obviously, personal team building is a big hack into building your business quickly and creating momentum and the ability to snowball, adding people to your team. Now, let me tell you this about recruiting. If you've not watched my recruiting, it's on the HDK download. I did it a couple weeks ago. And what I think is so important about team building is not to prejudge. And I know you hear that, but like, we do it anyway. And don't even let don't even let anybody in your head that says only recruit people that are going to do this big time and don't recruit people that just want a discount. I just totally disagree with that, because you never know what somebody is going to do with a business, ever, 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 ever. That you're not omnipotent. Neither are they. They may tell you they're not going to do anything. I don't care. They don't know, and I don't know, and so we won't know until we get in there and dig into it. So don't prejudge. Just go for the imperfect ones. Like if you like her, she's a high quality person. She's not dramatic. She's not negative. Don't recruit dramatic negative people, because that's division in a really great fast way. You want people that are positive, that are energy givers, not energy suckers. But I don't care what she thinks she's going to do with the business. I don't care. So that doesn't matter to me. Who she is as a person matters to me. So team building, personal team building is huge. And helping your team develop their team is in multiplication as well. Two other things that I think are in multiplication is self-leadership and self-coaching. Do you know how to get yourself to do things? I do. I am awesome at manipulating myself. I am awesome at holding my feet to the fire. I am awesome at waking up at a certain time of day and going to sleep at a certain time of day. That discipline in self-leadership. I am awesome at keeping integrity with myself for the most part. I do have slip-ups, but for the most part, I know how to get myself to do things. Do you? Do you? Or do you spend every single year, every single month, every single day going, man, I need to do that. Man, I really should do that. Gosh, I wish I did that. Man, I should go to the gym. I should go to the gym. I should do a face. I should do some booking calls. Then you do not know how to get yourself to do something. How do you get yourself to do something? That is self-leadership and self-coaching in a nutshell. And being disciplined in your areas of money, time, habits, health, relationships. I always forget one. It's always a different one. That is, if you're leading yourself well in those areas, that's great self-leadership. When I heard that concept 15 years ago, I led myself terribly in all of those areas. Terribly. So you don't have to know that right now. You just have to be willing to dig into leading yourself well. And I picked relationships. I knew it when I heard it, that was the one that I needed to dig into. I'm going to put that on my notes to teach this some other time, is really working on your self-leadership. I'm looking at some comments in here. Girls, you've got to learn how to get yourself to do something. And you have to create you have to have the willpower to create the habit. Okay. The willpower to create the habit is the worst part. That is discipline. That is sheer discipline in the face of a lot of obstacles. But once you have that habit, the habit takes over. People always ask me, how in the world do you get up at 3:45 every morning? Well, I mean, I don't like it, but it's not hard anymore. It's unpleasant, but it's not hard anymore. It was hard at the beginning. The beginning was I had to have the willpower, to have the discipline to make myself get up at 3:45 and to go to sleep at 8 or 8:30 at night. That's really interesting and difficult, especially when the rest of the world does not go to sleep at 8 or 8:30, and neither does the sun. So that's weird. But once you do it and create the habit, it just is what it is. So you just have to tough it out, gut it out long enough to create that habit. Okay, so that's multiplication. Addition. Once again, the goal is to spend the most amount of your precious work hours in the higher ups of these. So your addition, that is attending meetings and events. I am a huge proponent. Like, I don't like worthless meetings. I don't like redundant meetings. I don't like any old training. I want things that are you're going to hear it. You're going to be around positive people, and you're going to do something about it. If you came up to me at seminar and you said, Heather, I love one of the things that you were telling me about, and it was a great training. The first thing that I'm going to say to you, or I did say to you, you can comment if I did say this to you, I'm going to say, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because learning things does not matter. Knowing things does not matter. What matters is the action behind that. So, but you got to set yourself up for that, which is attending meetings and events. You got to set yourself up to hear the thing that you needed to hear in order to do something about it. So that's an addition. Mentoring calls with your mentor, whether it's your sales director, your recruiter. I'm going to X-nay the calling your best friend that's at the same level as you are and talking about the same thing you always talk about. Not a mentoring phone call. And if your power partner is at the same level that you are, that's not a power partner. And you guys aren't doing anything different, that's not a power partner. So we're gonna find some higher mentors doing something that you want to do. And if you are lucky enough for her to pour into you, you're going to absorb it, and you're going to do something about it. Anything done in your strengths is going to be addition. It could be multiplication, depending on what that is. Like this right here is a great example of addition for me. I don't make any money doing these calls, right? Like ain't nobody said you could send me money if you want to. But this does not build my business. This does not, this noon thing that I do on Wednesdays doesn't build my business. But when your strength is, your number one is communication, your number three is maximizer, this is a huge need filler. Like it really fills my cup. And also now I have a resource that I can send my people, my consultants moving up, my consultants that, they're on here as well. Then now that can be multiplication. So if it's done in my strength, it's always going to fill my cup. And so I'm always going to be on the plus side of this. So how do you know if things are an addition if you don't know your strengths? So there's another plug for that. Proactive work, bookings, lead generation, bookings, lead generation, bookings, lead generation, and bookings. How about that? Proactive work. Are you constantly growing your circle of influence? And that can be on social media. It can be in person. I would hope that it's both. I would hope that you're constantly getting more traffic in your social media. And I would hope that you're constantly handing out samples and meeting new people in person. I want both of those happening at the same time. So bookings, of course, reach outs, lead generation, sending people videos and having them watch it. All of those are going to be in addition. Those are great things for a consultant to be doing. And then the last thing that I'm going to put in addition is experimentation with new ideas. And I put this here because I personally am not great at doing new things. I would like things the way they are and the way they were, and I would like things to stay the same that work. And I don't love trying new things. I don't love trying new messenger parties. I don't love not like having to do YouTube videos for my training. I want people to come to my meetings. Like I don't love experimentation. It's really important. It's really important that you try new things. It's really important that you constantly try to figure out what you're going to like, what you're good at. Because my problem with COVID was that I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That seems impersonal. I don't want to do Facebook parties. That there's no connection there. I don't want to do Facebook parties because we're all going to go back to normal. And then I want to be working on my in-person stuff because I love large groups of people. I don't want to do that because that's not me. I don't want to do that. Okay. So I am done saying I don't want to do that. Now I'm like, okay, I'll try that. Okay, I'll try that. I'm going to give it like my best effort in multiple different ways and multiple different times because I want to experiment with new ideas. That is in addition. Okay, subtraction. Here is where I see that most consultants and directors are spending the vast majority of their time. Subtraction. They're necessary, but they're not by you. And so I'm going to say it, guys. I'm just going to say it. Deliveries. It is so important for your customers to get product, correct? But not by you. Not by you. I rarely make my own deliveries. I either have somebody do it for me. And if I had a 16-year-old child, I'm telling you, that would be their job. They would be making deliveries for me and it would be awesome. I do not have a 16-year-old child that could make deliveries for me. So it's either going to be an assistant. I'm either going to mail it out or like today, I have two that are really close to me and I'm going to the grocery store later today. So I'm going to do that on the way. I don't normally do it, but it's very, very convenient, and I'm not going to be wasting an additional time, because the moment you head out the door, that's probably like $200 worth of product. I have $200 worth of product leaving my door, which means I made 100 of that. Every moment that I'm driving that is not on my way, I'm losing precious dollars every single time you make a delivery. So somebody else needs to be doing that, or some way other than you. CDS is tremendous, and your customers pay the shipping, guys. I've changed my whole philosophy on that. I do not absorb shipping costs any longer. Okay, popular activities. What everybody is doing right now that is so great and so wonderful, and you've tried it and you've given it a valiant effort, and it's not for you, you're off the hook. Because if it's a popular activity and it's great for others, but it's not great for you, you're off the hook. It's in subtraction. If you're trying to force a square peg in a round hole, it ain't going to go, and you have permission to drop it. You got to figure out something else to do, but you have permission to drop that part. If it's a popular activity, but it's just not for you at this current moment in your business. Okay, making flyers. Scrolling Facebook groups looking for inspiration and ideas. You don't need inspiration. You don't need ideas. What you need is the discipline to do the things you know you need to do. Right? Can I get an amen? Throw an amen down in here for me, because that's what you need to be doing with your time, not scrolling. I am not in any of those. Thank you, Angie. Amen, Angie. I'm not in any of those groups. I don't need inspiration. I don't need to be motivated. I do not need another idea and another sales flyer for whatever holiday is coming. That is not how you build your business. How you build your business is with bookings, lead generation, proactive communication. Okay? Okay. I am done with that particular rant. Managing your inventory, mailing out samples. I am a sample girl. Sorry, I have a hair on my nose and it's driving me crazy. And then I have a cold. It's a fun combination. Okay. I'm a sample girl. I send out samples every single messenger party. I send out samples to, like, that's just like my thing. I send out samples all the time. I do not put those sample packs together. Nope. Or this is a great way for me to change into sweat equity. Or if you're like, well, Heather, I don't have anybody to do it and I don't got no money. Okay. Valid. That is valid. So what you're going to do is you're going to do sweat equity, which means that you're not putting your samples together in your prime time, Mary Kay business time. What you're going to do is you're going to do it on the couch watching TV with your husband, or you're going to do it while your kids are playing outside by the pool. You're not going to get it. You can get a tan. I would never take a tan away from anybody. Do it while you get a tan. Put your samples out there. It's sweat equity. You're either multitasking or you're taking something else and you're putting your sweat equity time in place of that, knowing that you're not going to get it paid back immediately, but that the future payoff is there. Okay. Sweat equity is so important to learn as a consultant or as a director, because you have to be aware of it. You have to label it. I'm so sorry. This hair is driving me crazy. You have to label it, because if you keep saying to your kids, to your husband, to your significant other, well, I'm working. Mom's working. I'm working. No, you're not. Because then they're going to say, okay, then where's the money? Because when you work, there's money. And where's the benefits happening of the work? You don't have any, because all you're doing is putting together samples. All you're doing is managing your inventory or making deliveries. That can be in sweat equity time as well. It's not working. It's the extra. It's the extra. It's not Mary Kay time. It's your personal investment into your business. And that comes out of personal time. Okay. Because if you spend, let's say you have 10 hours a week to work Mary Kay, and all you do is manage your inventory, put together samples, deliver product, and make flyers, those are all in subtraction category. You're going to make money like you're an assistant, because you're working like an assistant, and you're going to get frustrated because you want to be here, but you're doing this level of work. So This is sweat equity so that you can do your multiplication and addition in your precious 10 hours a week. Precious. They do not get assistant level work. The problem with assistant level work is that's low confidence level. I'm not saying assistants have low confidence. That's not what I mean. But as a business owner, if you're comfortable doing all of those things I just mentioned and only comfortable doing that, all of the bookings and the faces and the parties and the pre-profiling is uncomfortable to you, you're going to constantly be in a low confidence area. That ain't going to work as a business owner very fast. The cool part about confidence, though, is that confidence creates confidence. So the more you do in addition and multiplication, the more confident you will get. Unfortunately, you actually have to do it in order to create confidence. So just know that if that sweat equity, that low confidence, comfortable assistant work, that will eat you alive. It will destroy your business. And it doesn't sound bad, right? I'm working my business. I'm doing my stuff. I'm doing things I need to do. So it's an easy lie to tell yourself. It's a pretty good one. It's deadly. Deadly right there. Okay, now let's talk last one, division. Division is lethal, right? Subtraction is death by 1,000 cuts. Division is just pure does anybody do yoga where you do downward facing dog? Well, this is like downward facing spiral. This is all the emotional stuff that will swirl you all the way down the spiral of division. This will run you out of business. Distractions, emotional burnout. We're going to dig into those two in part 2, part 3 of this series, how to overcome distractions, how to work with emotional burnout, because they're killing consultants and directors. Killing. So we're going to take that back. Emotional guilt. I should be doing that. I should be doing that. Overthinking yourself to inaction. Like if you don't worry about like what I put in my samples. Put stuff in your samples. Skincare. That's what we sell, right? Put skincare samples. Doesn't matter. You can get better at it once you figure out, okay, people are really liking this charcoal mask sample. Ooh, people are really liking this Volume Firm sample. Ooh, you know what? I really love Volume Firm and Moisture Renewing Gel Mask. I think I'll put that in my sample. You have to be willing to just get into action and never worry about what the perfect thing is. There is no perfect thing. So stop overthinking it. And then it leads to this inaction and complete paralysis. Okay, anything you're doing as an escape is division. So if you are watching me today and you're watching this training because it makes you feel like you're working Mary Kay, and that is division. I hate to be division. I don't want to be. I want to be multiplication. But if you're not going to do anything with the information, then it's an escape. Are you watching podcasts? Are you reading? Are you doing social media to get inspired? Escape. If you don't do anything with the information, it is an escape. If you're reading so many leadership books and you're just like, you have so much information or you have so many certifications or you want to be a color analyst expert and you did all the classes and you have all the things and you don't do anything with it. That's division because you're escaping. You're escaping the actual real work of this business. It ain't sexy. It ain't flashy, but it works. It has worked for 63 years. Why would it not work? Of course it works. Okay. Not planning your time intentionally, being willy-nilly, dilly-dally. Some directors, I did a focus group or a little survey, and they said 2 of those things. So it just cracks me up now. Are you just willy-nilly with your time? And do you have an actual plan of who you're going to call, what you're going to say, what's the intention, what's your calendar look like? Where are your 10 precious hours of Mary Kay or your 5 precious hours of Mary Kay this week? It does not have to take over your life. But you might find it is taking over your life because you're not planning your time intentionally and you're doing assistant work and you're not calling it assistant work and you're not making any money. And then downward facing spiral. You see how this all just goes I want you to understand what you're supposed to be doing in your day, in your week, so that you will stop the spiraling, stop overthinking, stop getting confused, and just go to work. Mary Kay is very simple. Very, very, very simple. But you got to focus on the multiplication and the addition side of this. Any busy work, any cleaning out your closet, I'm looking at my desk. My desk is atrocious. And I'm not saying that you need to be messy like me. I'm just saying I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. I'll deal with it some other time in my sweat equity time. That's when organization happens in my office, is in sweat equity time. I ain't in that time right now. I'm working. I'm busy. I'm growing. Let's do this. So I'm not going to get bent out of shape about my mess because that's busy work. That's for later work. I could say I could delegate it, but ain't nobody want to come in here and figure out my mess. It's bad. Okay. And this one might ruffle some of my little feathers here. Angie, it's okay. It can be a disaster, but you're going to have to clean it up in sweat equity time. So cluttered mind, cluttered space, cluttered mind, cluttered business. So we do want it to be cleaned out and organized, but not right now. Not right now. Right now we're working. Saturday morning is a big time that I do my sweat equity time in my office. Oh, it's on my calendar. Clean office. I need to put some inventory away. I'm not doing it right now. So it's Saturday morning, sweat equity time is when I'm doing that. Okay. Anything that you're doing to feel needed. Where are my nurturers and my caretakers and my Enneagram 2s and a lot of my moms in here? Doing something to feel needed and important is a division activity because you're not actually growing. You're not actually doing anything that is going to make a difference. You're doing it just to feel needed. I'm seeing the comments. I see you. I see you. It's okay. I don't want you to do it anymore though. I want you to be needed, of course. Sure. Absolutely. I am needed. Dude, I was gone last week at seminar. I'm going to do a reel about this because my husband is the most capable human being, right? Like he's a baddie in all of those. This household needs me. Let's just say this household needs me. I'm like, it's like a train wreck over here. So you are needed, but doing something to feel needed and to get your needs met unhealthily, that's in division. Okay. Now, my last thing, because I'm already over my time, is I'm going to give you an idea of fixed versus flexible. And so there's some activities in here that really could be anything, right? You are always needed, but doing things to feel needed is very, very different because that means you're not empowering people. You have to empower, especially children. Don't get me started on that. Okay. Fixed versus flexible. That means that some of these things, like my example is social media. I can make social media multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. You want to know how I can do that? So I can't just put social media in one of those places because that's not true. So if I'm creating content on social media that I can share to my customers, to my consultants, to my prospects for future reference, that is multiplication for me. Any targeted proactive communication. So asking for addresses to mail out samples. Hey, I just made this reel and I thought of you. Like relationship building with another person. Targeted proactive communication, specifically from person to person, that's where the difference is between multiplication, is addition. Reading through things, socializing. So you're commenting on things. You're in other people's algorithm. Those are important things. It's also sort of subtraction. Socializing on social media. It is sort of important, but it's also on subtraction because that's also sweat equity time. Scrolling, mindlessly scrolling, watching reels, being cat reels. I can't with the cat reels. They kill me. I love them. Anything that people are like, they trip and fall and they are like, that's hilarious. Like those little, I love them. I love funny reels. Don't send them to me. I don't need any more. That's division. That is escaping. Okay, so you can see how not everything is fixed. Some things are flexible. So I want you to think about that when you sit down and make your plan for the week, because you better honor me with my time and your time. It is precious time by doing something about this. Where are you going to put your multiplication, addition, and your sweat equity time in there? You got to calculate it. You got to put it on a piece of paper. It's not going to work that way. You know that, but you have to start that way. And you got to fight for it as much as humanly possible. And you've got to master your understanding of what it is that you want out of this business. What do you want out of life? What's your goal? What is it going to take? You need to know all of those things, because what ago doesn't work now. What works 5 years ago doesn't work now. So maybe you need a recalibration conversation with your director and say, hey, I really want to be a red jacket. What do I need to do to be that? Because you don't want to fall. You don't want to have heard a class and she had one party and she became a red jacket. And so now your whole filter is, I just need one really great party and I'll be a red jacket. Well, that's the exception. That is not the rule. So you need to find somebody that will tell you the truth on what exactly does it take to get where you want to be. Okay, that's all for my time management, time matrix for today. Next week, let's do how to handle distractions. Okay, let's dig into there. Noon Wednesday Central next week. Be there, be square. Make sure that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Yay, Joanna, that is so exciting. Yay for Red Jackets. Subscribe. You guys have commented. Anybody that's watching later, please comment and say hi. It helps my little YouTube stuff. Like the video and share me. Do you have a unit Facebook group? Do you have other friends in Mary Kay that need a time management matrix training? Like, share me with other people. It's important for me, really. It's important to me. How about that? Hey, it does not matter how long it takes you. Does not matter how long it takes you. But if you want to shore up your time in between things, it take you 2 years to get a red jacket. Okay, what exactly do I need to do to get in DIQ? What exactly in addition and subtraction, addition and multiplication do I need to do to get into DIQ? The faster you do it, it can take 2 years or it can take 2 months. Which one do you want it to be? It's just how fast you get into the activity and get the activity done. Okay, love you guys. See you next week. Proud of you. Do something about it.